Okay. So, good evening, everyone. I'm Swaminathan, one of the TAs of this course, Introduction to Probability Statistics, and I welcome you all for this live session with Professor G. Srinivasan. So, the idea of this session is to have some technical discussions in the course which you have attended so far. So, the primary idea is to gain more confidence in the concepts covered, and of course, we all have spoken about the small problems we have had in the assignments. I think all of those problems have been clarified. And the idea of this session is to mainly have technical discussion, and we would like to improve your confidence for the upcoming exam and also on the concepts. Right now, Professor Srinivasan is there with us, and we have also floated the questionnaire which you guys have filled up for addressing in today's session. Apart from that, we have also taken questions from the discussion forum, especially the frequently asked questions. We have taken that, and Professor Srinivasan is going to cover them one by one. So first, he is going to start with the questionnaire which you guys have personally asked him. So he will start with that. After that, he is going to address the frequently asked questions in the discussion forum. And meanwhile, you can also type your questions on the chat box. So we TAs are going to take a look at it, and then we are also going to address those questions. So now I hand over the session to Professor Srinivasan. I wish you all a happy learning. Thank you.
Good evening, Swami. Let me also introduce three others who are with us, along with myself and Swami. We have the other two TAs for the course, Vasant Raj and Jnanadeepan. So along with Vasant and Jnanadeepan and Swami, all three are research scholars of the Department of Management Studies, with two of them doing PhD and Jnanadeepan doing his MS. In addition, we have Karthik from NPTEL, who has been always providing us with the kind of support that is required from the NPTEL. And Karthik is a very experienced technical person who will be coordinating all the technical aspects from this side. Let me also join Swami in kind of mentioning and accepting the fact that there have been some corrections required, some errors here and there in this course. And as he mentioned, all of these have been resolved, hopefully, to your satisfaction. And please grant it that it's still a learning exercise for all of us, for the TAs. Even though the MOOCs courses are on for well over 7-8 years now, we also have a transition by introducing new TAs into the system. And most of these were teething problems that came because of this transition. And I hope you are not unduly affected by it. In case you still have any concerns, please feel free to talk to them, and I'm sure they will solve it amicably. Okay. Now, how do we go about it, Swami? You want to read the questions and then I answer, or you want me to?
Sure, sir. I can read the questions one by one.
You can read the question one by one, and then I'll slowly answer. Okay. I'll also try to keep my. I don't know if I am visible. Am I visible? But I'm not going to share my screen. So I'm just going to read from the Excel sheet. So you can do that. Yeah.
Sure, sir. So the first question, and that is also very, I mean, most of the students are looking forward to this question. How easily is the final exam question paper? Any tips?
Oh, okay. So I think you're doing the other one first. I think you're doing the.
Yes, sir. These are the questions from the students. They've,
Okay. Okay. So the answer to that is again relative. How easy or how difficult is not the issue. Of course, if you ask me the question how easy, I would say the paper is easy because I have set the paper. So only if somebody else sets the paper, and if I have to write it, I'll be able to tell you whether it is easy or hard. But having said that, I have tried my best to replicate what we have been asking in the assignments, as well as replicate what has been covered in the course. So I don't see the paper as something being tough. If you have taken the trouble to answer the assignments on your own and learned from your mistakes, in case you have made some mistakes, the paper will not be tough by any means. I can pretty well understand the anxiety of students who are writing the exam, and those, when you write the exam, you want to pass the exam and get a certificate. And if you are a good student, you might even aim for the gold and silver and all those additional things that you can get. But having said all that, we have to remember two things. One is this course, you should always remember the title of this course is Introduction to Probability and Statistics. The title is not Probability and Statistics. What I'm trying to, and also the fact that I'm a faculty from a management studies department and not from a mathematics department offering this course. So what I have tried to do is to introduce the course more from the data angle and a little bit of how it is applied in day-to-day things and problems, rather than taking a view of a more mathematical view of theorem, rider, proofs, which I have not done. So those two things are pointers to tell you that it is actually not a tough ProbStat course. It's a very simple course. And if you remember, I would have started by saying it's like a pre-term course. In fact, this course was originally taught as a pre-term course by me to the MBA class. So when the MBA people come in, at times if you find people without an engineering background or without a mathematics background, sometimes people come with accounting background, economics background, and so on. So this course would act as some kind of starting pre-term course that prepares them to do a tougher course ahead. So to that extent, this course is not very tough, and work hard, and also believe at the end of the day, what is finally going to add value is the knowledge that you acquire from this course. In addition, of course, to a certificate which tells you that you have gone through a process to acquire that knowledge. But acquiring the knowledge is more important. Process is only a means of acquiring it. Okay, I hope my response is fine. But to give a very simple answer, well, the paper is not a tough paper. Right, next question, Swami.
All right, sir. So currently around 70 students are watching this live session.
Oh,
And
wonderful. Very happy.
so
Yeah.
with that note, I'll go to the second question. So when do we consider the data to be a sample or population? So this is the next question, sir.
Okay, at least for our course is concerned, the answer is it should be stated in the question or during the discussion. First thing you have to do is to watch for words. Do you find words like sample and population coming in? And if you find the correct word, you know what you're doing. And if you don't find the correct word, there's nothing wrong in assuming that the given data is sample data, unless otherwise we specifically say that it is population. There are other signals at times if the question or the discussion uses terms like mu and sigma, then it is meant to use to indicate the population. Whereas if we use terms like X bar and S, it is used to indicate a sample. But the general thing is, if nothing is stated, there's nothing wrong in treating it as sample and divide by n minus 1 instead of dividing it by n.
Thank
Right,
you.
next.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, if data is mentioned to be normally distributed with mean 100 and if we say that data is normally distributed in brackets 100 comma 10, so what is this 10? Is it variance or standard deviation?
Okay, I mean, I think I owe an answer to that question. It's a matter of terminology. For example, if I have given a question like that, I said normal with 1,000 and 200, I would assume that it is mean and standard deviation. I have seen several books and several authors follow this convention that what is given is mean and standard deviation. Generally, if it is normal, what is given is mu and sigma and not mu and sigma square. There could be a convention where you use mean and variance instead of mean and standard deviation. So if the question is specifically addressed to what I am doing, then the answer is mean and standard deviation. Yes, not variance.
All right, sir. So apart from this, we've got some comments on the teaching and our experience in the discussion forum. They have said that most of the students have said teaching is very good and all the doubts are clarified in the forum. And with that, the next question, there is one question in assignment 3 where students require more
Yeah,
clarification.
but before that, let me respond to the positive comments given by the students of this course. So I'm very happy to hear that. I'm extremely happy that a good number of people have felt that the course has been taught well. I'm very, very happy to hear that. I have to tell you actually that the reason this is even more significant is the fact that these type of courses, you don't get to see the instructor on a daily basis, or you don't get to see the face of the. I'm not sure if you are able to see my face now on the YouTube. Karthik, can you clarify? They'll be able to see my face. I think so. So, or can any one of the 70 come to chat? Would I be able to read if you tell something on chat?
Yes, sir, you are visible and people are
Very
also
good.
responding.
Very good. So what happens is it's not easy to to do this because you don't meet the students on a daily basis. It's not that easy to do that. So to that extent, it's a mutual disadvantage from both sides. Though we have things like TAs definitely doing their job and doing it well enough for your satisfaction. It's a very positive thing that you are happy, and at least those who have expressed it are happy. But having said that, let me also take this opportunity to thank the TAs. A couple of them I think are new. Swaminathan has been there for a while Vasant and Jnanadeepan are relatively new to this. And hopefully they have done a good job for all of you to be happy about. So thank you very much. I certainly appreciate it. And let's move to the next one.
Sir, apart from this, there are a couple of administrative questions like exam fees and so on. So I will take up this question with the NPTEL team and then get the make announcements in the course.
Okay, I think you will be able to do that talking to the NPTEL people who conduct the exam formally,
Yes,
to
sir.
the group who conduct as well as who take care of all the requirements related to the exam. Please do that and share it with the students in the forum. Yes.
Sir, there is one particular question on assignment 3 where the student is expecting more clarification. I think I'll sit with the other TAs and then get his doubt clarified. Uh,
But if you still have that question, can we know what topic it is broadly about?
uh, Sir, it is not very clear.
Okay.
It's on assignment 3, question 13.
Okay. It's all right. Okay. Move along.
Yes, sir. Sir, many are asking is the question MCQ type or detail or
I think we have all of them. So
hmm.
you will have some MCQs. You will have some small number of true or false. You will have a lot of numerical questions and so on. And generally, when numerical questions are given, at times the student writing the exam would not know where to stop. For example, if your answer is 1/3, you don't know whether you should write 1/3 or zero point 0.3 or 0.33 or 333 and so on. And we try to give instructions. We ask them to write as a decimal and not as a fraction. And we also try to tell them to write to a certain accuracy. I think there was a discussion on that also in the assignment. What
Yes.
we also try to do to the interest of the student we try to give a very small range, the range that is acceptable, which only takes care of rounding off errors and doesn't take care of computing errors. Therefore, you need not worry. For example, if you wrote a 0.437 and somebody said, no, the answer is 4372 or 4377 or something. So we take care of all of it. But numericals are there. I very strongly believe that we need numericals. You have to work out and then write rather than only MCQs. Anyway, the NPTEL templates for exams also does not give any instructor the freedom to set a paper with only MCQs and true or false, and not certainly for a course like this. So you will have all of them, and if the students are still interested in what kind of breakup of the marks and so on, and I think if the paper is for 50, I guess about 30 on 50 would be for numericals and maybe 20. I'm not very sure, it could be plus minus something, but certainly more than half the marks will be for numerical type. You don't have essay type in this, so you have only numerical types, you have MCQs, and you have true or false.
Thank you, sir. The next question is nominal and ordinal data, does nominal and ordinal data come under qualitative or categorical? Please explain.
Okay, I also tried to look up to answer this question, so thank you for raising this question. If you start reading what is qualitative data, one of the broad definitions of qualitative data is data that is collected, non-quantitative of course, collected through surveys, questionnaires, and so on. So essentially when you fill questionnaires and surveys, the type of answers that you give are, for example, descriptive things like gender, etc., as well as some order, agree, disagree. So nominal and ordinal are called categorical, are otherwise called as qualitative, very loosely called otherwise called, I don't even want to say loosely, otherwise called as qualitative, whereas interval and ratio, because of their properties, come under quantitative. So if the question is it categorical or qualitative? I think the answer is both, because at least in this course, at least what we are doing, we can use these two terms interchangeably, and therefore categorical is qualitative with respect to what we are doing in this course. Yes.
Thank you, sir. This question is taken from the discussion forum. I think we have completed the questions which students have raised through the questionnaire. So this particular question was taken from the discussion forum, and the following questions are going to be coming from the frequently asked questions of the discussion forum. So the next question is arrival rate and Poisson distribution. For example, in the assignments, we had an interesting question where we say that a jeweler fitting a gem breaks 2% of the times. So this was one example for Poisson arrival rate. Could you please give some more examples of this Poisson arrival rate?
Okay, the standard example given for Poisson arrival rate are your queuing models. Though this course does not talk about queuing models. For example, if let's say there is an ATM machine. So suppose we ask you, what is the rate of arrival in an ATM machine? So somebody might say, people arrive at the rate of 25 per hour or 30 per hour. So those are examples of Poisson because of the assumptions. And more importantly, a typical Poisson assumption would also tell you that while the expected value, which is lambda, is given as 25 per hour, it could be anything from 0 to a very large infinity with certain probabilities. The only thing is the probabilities will be higher to the number of arrivals closer to the expected value and lower as you move away from the expected value. Wherever we have people coming in, it's generally assumed that it could be Poisson and so on, unless there are very special cases where there is an explicit bunching of individuals and so on. For example, if you say bank teller, what is the arrival rate? You can assume it to be Poisson. A petrol filling station, it could be more general, but at least for the type of problems that we work out, you could say Poisson. People coming to a doctor, so all of these. So these are good examples of Poisson. Almost all the things which are modeled using queuing, you make that Poisson assumption. So,
Thank you, sir. The next question is on correlation coefficient. So if correlation coefficient is equal to 0, what does this mean?
it means it is uncorrelated. There is no correlation between the x and y. So the formula tells you that the correlation is between +1 and -1. -1 doesn't mean that there is no correlation. -1 means there is a negative correlation. 0 is about when there is no correlation between two things, and a positive value is a positive correlation. For example, if your x values are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the corresponding y values are 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 up to 20, then your correlation will be +1. You're perfectly positively correlated. But if on the other hand, your x values are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and the y values are 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, and so on, you will get a -1. So they're completely negatively correlated. It's also difficult to offhand give a set for zero correlation. But yes, if you have anything close to zero correlation, it means these two are not correlated. That's what it means.
Thank you, sir. The next question is on interquartile range in a box plot. So what does this mean?
In general, it means the difference between the 75th percentile and 25th percentile, which we have tried to explain in this course also. So given a set of numbers for which you are going to do a box plot, and you can start them in ascending order, get the median, and then you start from the first number to the median and get that median, which is the 25th percentile, and the biggest number to the median, you get the 75th percentile, and the difference between them is this. Otherwise, I think there is a small way to do it, which I have explained in the course. I'm sure you can also explain it to them as it is. But it's only a measure of telling you, for example, if I'm in the middle and I see a 50%, which is 25% on either side, where am I? That it tries to answer that question. The interquartile range tries to answer that question.
Thank you, sir. The next question is on chi-square value. And uh, people are asking, how do we conclude about association or non-association from chi-square value?
Okay. So in this course, I have not explicitly done that because it's a introduction kind of course. A little more advanced course, which I am not offering, but you might see them in NPTEL offered by other colleagues who specialize or who do a lot of work as well as teach in probability statistics. In such a course, you would find hypothesis testing and all that. So hypothesis testing is about concluding on a certain hypothesis, whether there is an association or there is no association within a certain accuracy of say 5% or whatever. So you will find the values like alpha and so on. And then you will have to calculate something and then see that if it is less than alpha, then you accept or reject it. We haven't come that far into the course. We only tell you that if the chi-square value is small, there is no association, and the chi-square value is large, there is association. So the only thing I'm telling you is this course doesn't answer that question. Uh, Maybe other courses would answer that question, and you can learn from hypothesis testing. You can do that. The only way we try to answer that question is by introducing this Kramer's V, and also tell you again that a smaller value of Kramer's V indicates no association, whereas a larger value indicates association. And at some point, I have subtly said anything like, more than zero point 0.5 or whatever, you clearly say there is association, and less than zero point 0.2, you could say there is no association. So actually, the answer is there is a little more than what we have learned in this course, and you need an advanced course to answer that question. But if this question is specific about the exam, which most students usually are anxious, you will not find a question which says, is there association with the data? Because I've not told you how to answer that. At best, I would ask you to calculate the chi-square value and leave it there.
Sir,
Yes,
the next question was on Kramer's V, which I think you have covered it in detail. I don't think
yes.
we need to address this question again. But the next question is textbook references for probability and statistics.
Okay. There are many good books that are available. Normally, if you want to learn what is done in this course, I would suggest that you look for titles called data analysis rather than titles called probability and statistics. If I look back at how I did this course, I can tell you a couple of things. So I started teaching this, what is called a pre-term course, where the content of the course is about, I guess, about 15, 16 hours of content, which kind of, I think, fits into what we are doing in this course. So 15 to 16 hours of content is all that this course had when I was teaching a pre-term course, and that too to an MBA class, not to an undergraduate in mathematics or statistics. Not, and I'm quite clear about it. That's the reason I titled it as Introduction to Probability and Statistics. So I used books with the title Data Analysis, not title Probability and Statistics. So the book that I referred for that course when I was teaching was a book by Stein and Foster. The Indian edition of that book is available, and I've tried to map that book and try to look at how the authors have explained the various concepts. And my introductory course, the pre-term course, had 12 chapters of Stein and Foster, which broadly I have used in this course also. And having said that, the probability portion for this course, particularly the first part of the probability, I've tried to give some more examples, some little involved examples. And I've used ideas from very famous book, Sheldon Ross, Probability and Statistics. But when I suggest Sheldon Ross's book for this audience, for this course, I'm going to ask the audience to be a little guarded, because Sheldon Ross, you need to read again and again and again. And Sheldon Ross is not the kind of book where you just read it once, you will understand everything. Anything on probability and statistics, I can tell you the hint. The hint is, try to go back to the exercise questions. Try to work out problems for which answers are given, and see whether most books don't give you answers to all the questions. They sometimes give you answers to odd numbered questions, sometimes to even numbered questions, and so on. So try to answer those questions for which answers are available and see whether you can get it. I can tell you, first time when you try it, you may hit about 30 to 40% success. Don't give up. Keep doing it till you understand the concept. Invariably, the formula are simple. There are not many, but you should have a lot of clarity about using the right kind of formula. For example, when you use Bayes' theorem, you have to decide there are only two formulas. But by looking at the description, you should be able to say which one I'm going to use. If it is P of A and B by P of B, if P of B is given, then you use a certain formula. And if P of B is not given and has to be calculated, you have to use the other formula, which has a longer denominator than the other. So this little thing you will learn as you keep practicing. It's to that extent, even I have found probability statistics to be a slightly different course than, for example, operations research, which I have taught for a much, much longer period than I have done this course. So it needs a lot of effort and a lot of patience and perseverance to finally get it. And for those questions where answers are not given, then you talk to some of your friends and try to do them together and then learn. That's the only way. It doesn't come easy, I can tell you that much. Even from my own experience, I can tell you it doesn't come easy. Right.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Sandeep Chatterjee. And, he has mentioned a comment that lectures are very good and the live session is very useful. Also, he wants to know the difference between covariance and correlation.
Well, that is fine. I hope I've explained it well. So correlation will, if you look at the formula, it will be like sigma xy by sigma x sigma y. The numerator is your covariance. The denominator is the product of the standard deviations. So covariance essentially talks about the combination, the effect, the combined effect of the deviations. So if I take a data point which has a certain x and y, how much is the x deviating from x bar and how much is the y deviating from the y bar? If both of them move in the same direction, for example, if x is also smaller than the x bar and y is also smaller than the y bar, then your x minus x bar and y minus y bar will be, x is smaller, both will be negative, and the combined effect is a positive number. If both move the same direction, the product becomes positive, and therefore it's going to increase the correlation. So positive covariance makes correlation positive. If you have a point xy where x is smaller than x bar but y is bigger than y bar, then they try to move in opposite directions and the product is negative. So the positives and the negatives will try to bring it closer to zero, or you will not find. So any negative covariance is going to decrease the correlation. That is why when you find the covariance, finally, if the covariance is zero, correlation is zero. If covariance is positive, correlation is positive. If covariance is negative, correlation is negative. So simple answer, covariance is the numerator of the equation or formula for correlation. Yes. Yes, Swami, can you hear? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now I can hear you, sir. Uh, Sir, now we have completed the questions from the questionnaire floated, and we have also talked in detail about the frequently asked questions on the discussion forum. Next, we'll take one or two questions from the chat, live chat.
Yes.
And
So let me see if there is some. I don't know if I have access to the chat, but
I can
maybe
read up.
you. Yeah, please read. Yeah, go ahead.
So there is a question from Aravind. He says, what is the difference between stochastic and probabilistic models?
Okay. I think as far as this course is concerned, you can use them interchangeably. I'm sure there are more specific answers, but I'm not going to get into that detail. You can use them interchangeably. Yes.
I think we have answered all the questions.
Okay. Uh, Anything more from them that they want to ask? Or
Sir, can we wait for 2 minutes so that?
yeah, we can. We can. Of course, we can. Of course, we can.
Sure, sir. So students, in case of any doubts, in case some more clarification is required on certain topics, please use the live chat and please type
And
the.
let me also tell this to students. I mean, I'm very happy that a good number of students come to this course. But you have to remember two things. One is it's a very simple course, and this course does not train you in all the concepts in probability and statistics. For example, as I was speaking earlier, if you open a probability statistics book or a data analysis for management book, you might find 25 chapters, and this book would hardly do the first 10 chapters and so on. So you need two things. You need to do very well, and you need to understand all the concepts that we are trying to explain in this course. At the same time, understand that this course has not trained you adequately in probability statistics for you to say that, well, I know a thing or two about this subject. So you're really interested in a career that's going to involve a lot of statistics and probability, I would certainly advise you to do another course. Look for courses like advanced topics or advanced or only called probability and statistics or probabilistic models or whatever. So this would only be a first course in one or two or three more courses that you really need to do to become very strong and compete uh, in the open. So those are my two observations. Well, this course would give you the beginning and the introduction, but certainly this is not the end. You need a more advanced course if you choose a career on this.
Sir, the next question is on frequentist and Bayesian approach. So, what is the difference between frequentist and Bayesian approach?
I don't know, I'm not getting what is the first one? Okay,
Frequentist.
no, okay. I think I'm not going to answer this question right now because it requires a little more preparation from my side. The only thing I can tell you that this is well beyond what we are doing in this course. So that's the only answer I can give at the moment.
Yes, sir. Sir, the next question is on final grade. So, how is the final grade going to be? Is it a mix of the assignments and the final exam, or it is
I
going
think so. I think that's what NPTEL wants us to do.
to?
I think those things are quite clear with respect to the course. It
Yes.
will be a combination of the final exam and the assignments. Yes.
So that's all, sir. People are thanking you for this live session, and they are
Okay.
happy from the
Okay.
motivation you've given them.
Okay. So let me thank all the students. I'm not able to see them, but all the best to you. Please do well. Very happy that so many of you have come to this course as well as come to this meeting. Also, I thank all the three TAs as well as Karthik for enabling this and making this happen. I think you can see Vasant Raj now, so you can see him. I hope you can see him. I'm able to see him, so I hope others are able to see. If Jnanadeepan can also join and come live, it will be good. Swami, you could also do that.
Good evening.
Swami, now can you see yourself, Swami, on the YouTube?
Sir, I think it will take some time, sir, to reflect.
Okay, all right. Karthik, I think Karthik, you should also join. Karthik, are you there? Okay, okay, okay. So thanks, Karthik. Now, Swami, are all three of you visible?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes,
very
sir.
good. Okay. So, are the students able to see you? That's more important. I've seen you before. So,
Yes, sir.
hopefully, they are able to see. All right. So, thank you very much and all the best to all of you, including the TAs. Thank you, Karthik. And I think we can sign off, Swami. Can we?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, we'll sign off. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.